Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1, and we are here for round number 17 at the Japanese Grand Prix at the legendary Suzuka circuit. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box, it's Tuesday night, so it can only be Tom, also known as Tej. Tej, how are you tonight?
I'm very well, Kieran. Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. I'm looking forward to this race. If there's anything to go like last week's race at Singapore, we're in for an absolute cracker.
Absolutely, and we do have some championship implications tonight. Let's see if Jack is here. Well, he is here tonight. Is Ollie here? Yes, he is. So if Jack wins today's race and Ollie does not score any point scoring position, then it means Jack will wrap up the title. Any other result tonight and the championship keeps going on to America. So that's always nice to hear that the championship goes on. It's only that one result if it comes up, but obviously it could happen, so we have to bring it up.
No, absolutely, Kieran. And Ollie will be looking for a strong result to take to America. He'll be hoping to get a strong point to finish, try and put as much pressure as he can on Jack as we come to the closing round of the championship.
And when we get to the chat here, obviously I have a look at these before the race starts. There's normally good little bits of information waiting there. We had the practice results as well. Four of the drivers took part in the practice that happens about an hour before the race starts. So we had Maze on top with a 1:29.391 on Supersoft. Siege was the second with a 1:29.7. On soft tyres, Sean in third, 1:29.9 on softs, and Alan K 1:30.9 on the super soft. So they were the four that took part in today's practice session. Then we have a look now at the driver standings. So at the top of the table is Jack on 323, Ollie is in second on 220, Spike in third on 155, and Sean in fourth on 126. What a season he's had. White actually picked up his first race win of the season last time out, so a big moment for him. He jumps now right up to 88 points now, ahead of Lighty, who must be feeling a little bit frustrated with that one. Let's have a look at the constructors tables just before we get into qualifying. Mercedes on 478, Red Bull in second on 304. Those are the two battles going on right now, but if the Mercedes domination continues as it does in F1 2019 this season, I don't think it's going to end too well for Red Bull at the end of this season 13 here in TTL F1.
No, not at all, Kieran. It's the other drivers, bar the Mercedes, will be hoping to try and keep the championship alive. They'll be going about their own business, trying to not interfere in the championship, trying to let Ollie and Jack give them the best chance they can of making the championship go down to the last few races. But what is interesting coming this race, Kieran, you're going to have a split strategy. I do believe that the super softs and the softs is a viable option. So it'll be interesting to see what strategy the racers take when it comes to qualifying.
Yeah, obviously it could be a one-stop, could be a two-stop. It's always quite difficult here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Three tyres available, the super softs, the softs and the medium tyres available for the drivers here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Interestingly, Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka was built by Honda, originally as a test circuit for them back in the 1950s. Then it was commissioned for Formula One racing in the late 70s and early 80s. So it's had a rich history here of Formula One. And in between the likes of the Pacific Grand Prix, which Andy always loves to say, as the other race in Asia, the other race in Japan, that short-lived Pacific Grand Prix. And not only that, but we also have Fuji as well, who've also hosted a race of the Japanese Grand Prix as most recently as 2008 with those green grooved eco tyres, I think they were called. But well, they're gone now. We're back at Suzuka. Fantastic circuit, this one. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Suzuka, for me, and I'm sure many others, it's always been the home of Asian racing in Formula One. I know we've had the split times where we've been to the Pacific Grand Prix in Aida, and obviously you had the Fuji Speedway, which is the circuit for Japan for 2 years from 2007 to 2008. But I'm sure you agree, Kieran, that when it comes to racing in Asia and in Japan, it's always been Suzuka. You have to think of the classic battles we've had here: Senna, Prost, Hill within the championship, Hakkinen and Schumacher in '98. It really has been the home of some cracking races, and we hope tonight adds to the list.
I just saw Yuzi there just have a little bit of a moment through the S's, clipped the wheel on the grass there, and just did a little bit of a 360, recovered himself though, and now he heads towards the hairpin, a real place where Kamui Kobayashi would have a go up the inside. So maybe we might be seeing a couple of those today. But they're just struggling to get those tyres warmed up, and just maybe using those limits of the track just a little bit too much. Just sends him spinning around. No harm done in the long run. There's Jack then on the super soft tyres as he makes his way now around through turn 2, on the way now through the S section, and of course heading down towards turn 1. That legendary and infamous instant of all those years ago handed Senna the title, obviously a year before at the Casio Triangle. The teammates came together of Senna and Prost, which in the end handed Prost the title because it was deemed that Senna never completed the full race distance because he used the escape road. So a very controversial time, the late 80s and early 90s, and on the weekend of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna passing away coming up. Obviously it's a sad time to remember, but of course that legendary rivalry between Senna and Prost is immortalised here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Such a rich history for it.
Oh, absolutely, Jack. And you know, Jean-Marie Balest was the FIA president at the time. Like you say, some controversial decisions were made in Formula One back in those days. Maybe it was the season after, where it was German Grand Prix where the same issue arose, and it was Prost, and he managed to get away with it then. But it's moving on from history, and we're dealing with it now as Jack comes up to the final sector. Let's see what time he sets. He's currently doing 123, 124, 125. Let's see how fast he can go on the super soft, and it's provisional pole position at 127.0 for TTG Jack as he lays down the marker and says, I want to win the championship tonight.
He wants to win the championship tonight. Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one, I wonder. But yeah, Jack on pole position. There's that was Graham off on the gravel there, just getting out of the way. Spike then 128.4. Remember, that's on the soft tyres. Let's bring up those best tyres so far. So this is the tyre the driver has set their best lap time on. As you can see, Lighty there 128.5. That's on a set of super soft tyres. Benfica there 130.0 on a set of soft tyres. We've got Graham there 130.2 on the super softs. How's Ollie getting on them? Well, he's making his way now through 130R and now coming all the way down towards the Casio Triangle. And what sort of lap time can he put down? He's on the soft tyres. Obviously there's a little bit of pressure on him because he has to score points today to keep the championship alive. So 128.0, that puts him onto the front row of the grid for now, a second off the pace, but there's a compound difference. There's still time to find out there.
No, there certainly is, and as the more laps, more rubber the drivers put down, the quicker the times will come at the end of the session. Surprising that he's going on the soft tyres so early in the session. You only do get the one set of soft, so one would have to imagine that this will be used as the banker lap, and sometime later in the session he'll be going out on the super softs. But Jack's time, a very, very solid and very strong time with Joe Big here in the 127.0.
Yeah, 127 is going to be tough to beat, but the track is only going to get quicker and quicker as we head towards the latter stages of qualifying. There is White, last time's race winner, managed to become, I believe, the fourth person to win a race this season. It's the fourth or fifth person to win a race this season. He sets a 141.5, which is, of course, not representative, as he now makes his way down towards turn 1 to have another go.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Fake Benfica goes. Oh, he just got commentator's curse. He just goes off coming out the set of rest. It'd be interesting to see how he goes. He had a very strong. Oh, and he just brought. Oh no, commentator's curse. Absolutely, he just clipped and taken out TTG White in the Haas. He came out the track, not knowing what cars was around him. Bit of a Daniel Ricciardo moment there from Sunday, unfortunately for Fake Benfica. I was just singing his praises. What a great debut he had last week in Singapore, and unfortunately for him, he's going to take a 5-place grid penalty.
Yeah, that's just been awarded to him, and White will be frustrated with that one. Although he has set a lap time, although it is a 141.5, so last time's race winner now down the field. Alan Kay then comes across the line, and that's odd for him. He's in the McLaren this time around. He's supposed to be in the Renault, but I guess a change of colour this time around. Oh, he's gone off there, and he's
gone off at the same place
now.
Yeah, there's some oil left down on the track from when Benfica went off earlier on. Interesting to see if anybody else goes off there. Obviously a part of the track which is catching a lot of the drivers out so far today. Now there's still quite a few drivers who've not come out. Mears, Plaster, Naz, Sean, Siege and Nexus Pursuit as we approach 10 minutes left in the session. 10 seconds.
10 seconds left. No, this is it now. He's then making his way down towards the Casio Triangle, and on those medium tyres, we've got Recon there who set his best lap time. He's up into 4th place, a 1:28.4 on mediums. That is an astonishing lap on those tyres. So there's clearly more time to find. You're looking at maybe even 1.6 the difference between the super softs and the mediums around this track. Especially in qualifying, you could maybe boost that to 1.7, 1.8 seconds even, especially as the track evolution kicks in. Expect to see a very quick time from Recon with around 2 or 1 minute to go.
That's a good question though. Would he require to come back out? I mean, that's a very, very strong time on the mediums, and if you're looking for doing a stint at the start of the race on the mediums, you're going to be getting yourself in prime position for making up a lot of positions come the race. I'm sure the front three will be happy. Jack, Ollie and Spike, because that could make a train go behind Recon during the race, because you know how difficult it is to overtake at Suzuka. It's quite notoriously known for being a difficult track to get positions.
Well, in the end of the day, it is entirely up to them, so they can settle for first and second, Jack and Ollie, but I don't think they will. Definitely see Jack out there for another run. That's a guarantee. As you can see there, that is Pursuit making his way out of the hairpin and on the way now through turn 12 up towards the spoon curve of turns 13 and 14. And flying through here now, obviously hold the Sebastian Vettel reference, trying to go up the inside of Verstappen here. We don't mention that. It's still a sensitive area for poor old Seb. But his Pursuit now flying through 130R, a corner that used to challenge. Now it's completely flat out as we head towards the Casio Triangle with Pursuit then. Seems to overdrive the entrance into the triangle, but here we go then. Through the DRS zone, now towards the start-finish line. That's a 1:27.4. I can't help but think he could have gone a little bit faster if he didn't just overrun the entrance into the Casio Triangle there.
No, absolutely. It just, on occasions, the braking zone can catch drivers out, lose more time there than you do any other area of the track. As Jack goes quicker again, queuing with a 1:26.7. He's setting the bar. He's saying, I'm coming for the race win. I won last time out in Singapore on Tuesday, and I want to keep up my result. I want to keep up that record.
Well, he's certainly making the mark here with that 1:26.7. He's riding on board now as he heads through turn 5 and then through turn 6 and 7. Now up the hill. You've got to be careful through turn 7. The back end, if the car's not set up right, will really try and lose control there as we head through the Degners of turns 8 and through turn 9. And we're now coming up towards turn 10, where of course Kvyat had that big off in 2015 there, flipping the car before the hairpin in practice, but that's what happens when you clip the curb there. And also just coming under the bridge is also where we saw Lewis Hamilton lose the back end. What year was that? I'm going to say 2017, when it was unheard of to spin these cars just out of the blue, but he picked up too much curb on the exit of turn 9 and the second Degner and just spun the car around.
Yeah, I remember that. Ollie's gone out on the super soft queue, and as he comes up to the last chicane, DRS level 5, the DRS wide open, he's going to be looking to try and usurp Jack's pole position to keep this championship challenge alive as he runs down to turn 1. DRS dropped to level 4, nice break, this runs quite wide there, but manages to save the car. Coming up to the centre S, absolutely fantastic section of corners, one of the best, if not the best, on the F1 calendar. A real driver's favourite. It really does challenge you, especially when you come to the end of it, trying to get it in the gear 4, gear 5, and just put the pedal to the metal and hope your car has enough grip in it to cling on as it comes down to the first Degner, second Degner under the tunnel. As we go now to the Kobayashi corner, the Kobayashi hairpin, so famously from 2010 in the Sauber, when he went past everyone. A long run down round to the spoon corner. Try and keep the car to the left as they try and sweep it in now into this corner, into this section. Down from 2 gears to 5, maybe one more. He's gonna touch wide there. Try to clip the apex, kiss it on the way out. Good strong run so far from Ollie. Let's see what his second sector time is.
He's backed off, Tej. He's backed off.
Oh, he has. Oh, he invalidated it somewhere. It's a shame. He's
That
got time
must
for
have
another
been.
lap.
Yeah, I think that was on the second part of the spoon curve there, coming through 14. He just must have run slightly too wide off the track, and that's obviously invalidated his lap time altogether. So abandoned from Ollie then. He makes it back to the pits. We've got Spike out there on super softs. Recon has come back out on super softs. Remember, he set a 128.4 on a set of medium tyres. Be interesting to see how he can get on in the Williams. And of course, Williams have been having a tough time recently. You know, they've had to fill their spots with reserve drivers and what the like. But they've, you've got Fate, and they've got Fate Benfica, and they've got Recon now in the Williams as permanent drivers until the end of the season. So at least now they've got two permanent drivers who could try and help them get some late points on the board.
Absolutely, Kieran. It's a strong driver partnership as well. Now we've got Fate Benfica making his debut last week. Imagine it was just over time for the season. Possibly next season, he's just going to get better and better over time. And you see Fate Recon in 5th at the moment. I remember his lap time was on the medium, so he's flying now on the super soft. Let's see what he can do. So he can put the cat among the pigeons and get his name up within the top 3 or 4.
The cat among the pigeons.
Yeah, cause a bit of dilemma, a bit of delirium. You throw a cat in with a bunch of pigeons, see what happens.
I'll let it slide, Tej. Well, here's an odd sight then. Here's Mays on qualifying, out on circuit.
Talking to pigeons.
He goes P9 then, 128.9 on a set of super soft tyres. So that is the quickest he's gone then. He did set the fast time in practice on the super soft. That was a 129.3. And of course, with an evolving track, you're sort of expecting those lap times to come down.
See what Recon can do. Across the line he comes. It's 126 second. He shares the front row of the grid. Very strong time. That's the cat, Kieran.
And that is Fate then, up to P6 on a set of super soft tyres as well. We're just over 3.5 minutes to go. It's Jack on pole position and Recon second, Spike in third with Pursuit in fourth, Ollie fifth with Benfica in sixth, Lighty seventh, Siege in eighth, Crazy in ninth, having scored his first points of the season last time out. And he'll be very encouraged by that one. Still though, 8 points on the board. It's still a long way to go in the season. Mays then rounding out the top 10 with Sean in P11, Graham in 12th. We've got Yuzi 13th, Alan K 14th who crashed out. We saw that on the stream. White also out after his collision with the man you're seeing right now, Benfica. Plaster on an outlap, currently 16th, and Naz, I believe, is on a flying lap. Is he on a set of medium tyres? Oh, gets turn 6 wrong, and he's off the track onto the gravel. And he just about keeps that in check, gets out of the way of the flying Red Bull. I believe that's either Ollie or Siege going through your picture. But yeah, scary moment for Naz then, as he now has to rejoin the circuit. As it wasn't Ollie, so that was actually Siege going through your picture then, as he did his best to avoid that one. Currently on some soft tyres as he now makes his way through turn 12 and coming towards the spoon section.
He's invalidated again. Ollie's invalidated in the first corner. The pressure might be getting to the young Red Bull driver.
Yeah, the man from Jersey might be under a bit of pressure. Siege then also losing the back end in the spoon section. So that is that lap time. You'd say off the board, but he's currently 8th place. Mays retires from the session. He feels he's done all he can. And Ollie retires as well, so 5th place at least. You know, considering if no one sets any faster lap times, which with Siege coming towards the line is very unlikely. Here he comes then. So that was 2/10 slower, but he's going again. He has to on these soft tyres. As he now makes his way through turn 1, through turn 2 as well. And it's a real test of bravery going through into turn 1. How late do you brake? And you're also braking and turning at the same time. You're doing your best to trail brake. But of course, there's that fine line between trail braking and locking up entirely. Plaster retires without saying a lap time. Naz is out there, 1:45.3. Of course, that was including his off earlier on. So he'll be now hoping to set a more competitive lap time on the same set of medium tyres. We've got Jack in the Mercedes out on the track. Spike as well, heading through the Degnas. Pursuit now making his way towards 130R. Ollie, who has retired. Benfica, I believe, is on an out lap. Or an in-between lap anyway. Lighty on a flying lap, heading up the hill now through turn 7 and on the way now towards the Degners. Where is Siege? He's now making his way through the second part of Spoon Curve, heading now down the hill and now on the way towards 130R. He's on the soft tyres, remember, and now coming towards that fast left-hander. You just steer in, don't even think about it. As we head now down towards the Casio Triangle, braking just after the 100-metre board now. Siege turns in the Casio Triangle now down the hill. Watch the traction here as we head down through turn 17 and on the way towards the start finish line. It's 5th place for Siege, who out-qualifies his teammate by 0.2 of a second, and that could be all important then. Pursuit retires from the session. He feels he hasn't done enough, and Jack is off. Jack is off at the that's the Degners, is it? Yes, it is Degner 2.
3.
Yeah, so he's obviously invalidated his lap time and gone straight on. Spike then 3rd place, a full second quicker, and now gets onto the second row of the grid. Then Siege will be making his way back towards the pit lane. Benfica up to 8th. That was Lighty there in 6th, 127.9. As Sean then is just made the cut. And now he'll be on a flying lap, so he will be the last person to set a lap time here in this qualifying session. We'll ride on board with him for it as he heads through the second Degner on the way up now towards that hairpin. Braking hard now, trying to get this corner right, and it's crucial too because you're accelerating all the way now towards the Spoon Curve now. Right-hander keeping that steering wheel as straight as possible to build up as much momentum as possible as we now head towards turn 13 and then through turn 14. Currently 11th place. Remember, he set that 129.4 on a set of medium tyres. He's had a fantastic season so far, has Sean, and he'll want to keep it going here at the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. He now makes his way towards 130R, the fast left-hander. No gear change, no throttle change whatsoever. Now heading towards the Casio Triangle, braking later than Siege there and using that curve on the inside to help him turn in. Now heading down the hill through turn 18 now. Watch the traction. What can Sean do in the Haas as he comes across the line? It's a top 10 finish for Sean. It is 9th place. Pole position then goes to Jack, with Ollie crucially starting right away down the order. So we'll have your qualifying results in just a second as they're posted there. Remember that Benfica does have a 5-place grid penalty for the race, but there is Jack on pole position, Rican in 2nd with Spike in 3rd, Pursuit in 4th, Siege in 5th, Lighty 6th with Ollie in 7th, Benfica 8th, Sean 9th and Crazy in 10th, rounding out that top 10 there. Mays in 11th, Graham 12th, Uzi 13th, Alan K 14th, White 15th, Naz in 16th, and then Plaster in 17th. With Benfica's 5-place grid penalty, it means he'll be starting from 13th place. That means Sean will be starting 8th, Crazy 9th, Mays in 10th, Graham in 11th, and Yuzi will be promoted up to 12th place. But still, Benfica will have to start on those super soft tyres, whilst Mays, who'll be in P10, gets a free choice of tyre.
Yeah, it worked out all right in the end for Mays, didn't it? He managed to get himself in the top 10 on the super softs, and I think in hindsight he was thinking I'd rather start on the harder tyre and come from further down and get a fresh set of tyres.
Well, remember, Tej, he qualified in 11th place, so although he's starting P10, he gets a free choice of tyres. It's actually Benfica starting P13. He qualified in 8th place. That means he has to start the race on the tyre he qualified on. So it's going to be an interesting one. Benfica will feel a little bit hard done by. However, we'll be seeing who can take the win in this one. Obviously, Jack will be hoping to get that championship run extended even further. Remember, if he wins tonight and Ollie does not score a single point, then Jack will be crowned the season 13 champion. And he has dominated this season, and he'll want to wrap it up as quickly as he possibly can. And set his sights on for season 14, which is most likely going to be a new game for a new season. But news on that will follow in due course then. So round number 17 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Let us know who will win this one. Recon starting in 2nd place there. Watch out for him as he makes his way now. 2nd place he qualified, so a brilliant run for him. And let's have a look at those tyres. Of course, the top 9 start on the tyres they qualified on. Mays being the only exception. He's starting on a set of medium tyres. Of course, he qualified in 11th place, but due to Benfica's penalty, he actually starts in 10th place. So Graham starts on a new set of soft tyres, as does Yuzi there in 12th place. Benfica starts on used super soft tyres, because he qualified in 8th place. Alan Kay then 14th on new soft tyres, as is White, last time's race winner. He'll be hoping for a better change of luck after that qualifying performance, starting 15th place then. Naz, who's off again on those medium tyres. That won't do any help in warming them up for this one, as he runs wide again at the end of the first Degner, so he's really struggling to get some heat into those tyres. Blaster then's just watching on and looking for his weak spots. He's in 17th place at the moment, hoping to score some more points for Ferrari, who have had a bit of a disastrous season. They've not had the point scorers they've wanted. They've had drivers leave. Poor run of form for Ferrari as well, and they've got Plaster and Crazy till the end of the season. What next for them? Who do they get their eyes on next?
Well, it won't be me, Kieran, because I'm quite comfortable being up here, and I don't think I'm fast enough to take the Ferrari seat.
Oh, I like that. No, neither am I. Well, whoever it is, I'm sure Ferrari have got a shortlist then, as of course we've only got a couple of rounds left in the season. Oh, that's Jack then, really braking hard as we head towards the Casio Triangle. Recon had to take evasive action there, and he did well to avoid the Mercedes who'd slowed down. But we head around the Casio Triangle now, and Jack lighting up the rear tyres as we head now down the hill towards the grid here for round 17 and the Japanese Grand Prix. TTL F1 sponsored by WeakWiFiSolutions.com, who also sponsor the Driver of the Day award as selected by the drivers here tonight. And it's also sponsored by A Logo, who provide all of the graphics for the league. And they also sponsor the fastest lap of the race award. Moments away then here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Here in Suzuka, it always delivers. But will it deliver a championship today? We'll have to wait and see as we now wait for those lights to count up now towards the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. We're almost ready to go here. It's 5 red lights. Round 17 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like it's a good start from Jack then. Recon's not got the best start at all. Watch out for Pursuit then as we head now down through turn 1. Can he make the good on that start then? As we see that Siege running completely off the track then. So that's a free position for Ollie to take, as he'll take that with great. And Crazy's out then. First retirement of the race, and it's Crazy as he's gone off then. Maze is also struggling. I wonder if Maze and Crazy came together. Maze looks like he's got front wing damage, has he? Lots of understeer in that car. I wonder. Doesn't look too bad actually, but he might have some damage we can't see. Meanwhile, further ahead then, White is on a charge here. He's now up to 11th place. Benfica's up to 12th, by the way, as well. And White here looking at Yuzi now as we head up towards the hairpin. Will we see a Kobayashi style move as we head towards the hairpin? We might do here. White right up the inside. Up he goes into the hairpin. Kobayashi-esque. And he gets himself 10th place. A great move there from the Haas driver. Really trying to carry that momentum forward after that disappointing qualifying. He'll be right on the money there to try and get that position back. So Jack then still in the lead. Recon keeping him close company with Spike in 3rd. It's Pursuit in 4th and Lighty in 5th as we head towards 130R. And Benfica and Yuzi are battling away for position here. And Benfica manages to get his way through then. And Yuzi drops a position. Lighty and Pursuit in the Force Indias here have made a good team so far. They're currently running 4th and 5th at the moment as we head now down the hill, as we've got a car off there. That looks like it's Naz who's struggling, and he's crashed just before the Casio Triangle, and that's a whole chunk of front wing off. He's going to have to come in and get that changed. And we see now the Force Indias still running in tandem. At the end of lap 1 then, Jack leads for Mercedes. It's Recon in 2nd, Spike in 3rd, Pursuit and Lighty, the Force Indias, running 4th and 5th. It's Ollie in 6th, Sean in 7th with Siege in 8th, Graham in 9th and White up into the top 10. Benfica in 11th using 12th, Mace down to 13th, Alan K 14th.
Change of position. Recon and Jack run side by side into the Degno. Sorry to interrupt there, Kieran, but it looked like it was getting very, very dicey as Recon Dyson is harrying the championship leader as they go to the Kobayashi hairpin. He's going to phone up the inside. No, he's not. He's thinking better of it. He's going to go try and get side by side into the spoon corner.
just saw then.
It just got quite interesting then.
No, you're absolutely fine. So Recon now heading towards the spoon curve, getting very close to the back of that Mercedes. Just on the stream there, we did see Pursuit run into some trouble there, and he lost a chunk of his front wing. He's retired from the race then, so we are down 2 drivers. But Recon here looking to try and make good on this momentum he has, running through 130R. As you can see there, Jack running slightly wide onto the AstroTurf. That won't help his entrance in towards the Casio Triangle, but the Williams there just simply has nowhere to go as we now run down the hill through turn 8. And you can see Recon there losing that back end, and that's crucial then. DRS enabled. We won't really see that until the next lap. Only one DRS activation point, of course, and that is down the start finish straight towards the first turn.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic start to the race, Q, and it was right at the start as well. You had both the Force Indias, they were dieting for position, and actually Nexus Pursuit is now out of the race, which has allowed Ollie to move up positions. It's moved up 2 places, so Ollie in 4th.
Lighty is off, and I wonder if that was contact with the Red Bull then. So Lighty makes his way back onto the track then. Both Force Indias here have really hit a brick wall. Lighty now down to 14th, still in this race though with no damage, but those tyres will have taken a beating. That's Benfica off as well now. Benfica off. Has he spun the car? Well, he's been onto the gravel at least. And, well, again, those Superstar tyres won't be getting the best of those as he's gone again as Eno kept it facing the right way this time around. But running in 14th place now. All drama in the first 3 laps of this race. Fantastic stuff as Recon still trying to pile the pressure onto the race leader, Jack.
I wonder if it was the 2 Force Indians, because they were dieting a lot at the start of the race. There was bits of carbon fibre flying around the centre S's. It was going to be hard for Ollie to get through them both, but they made it easier for him by both retiring from the race. As Recon comes from R130, he looks to go side by side with Jack, who swipes to the left, battle the late breakers. Recon gets a better run out of the Casio corner as he did last time, Casio Triangle. And he's looking a lot closer than what he has been previously. DRS wide open, Jack defending the inside line. If you're going to go through, he's going to try and send him on the outside, but Recon puts up the inside, battle for first place, turn 1, and Recon takes the lead.
Yeah, great move from Recon then. Really used that DRS to perfection. And he's got the lead of the race then. Jack now down to 2nd. That's going to be music to Ollie's ears then, as he's currently running in 4th place, 3 seconds back from Spike. And speaking of Spike, he's now only 6/10 behind this battle. He was starting to fall away a little bit, fell to more than a second behind that battle. Now he's right back into it and could have DRS range. Meanwhile, battle for 5th place between Sean Siege and White here. White now up to 7th place, and that looks like Graham in trouble. As, yes, he's been onto the gravel, but he's only lost 1 position there, and that was to Yuzi. Now he's under pressure from Mays then, as we head now towards the Degners. And Graham here maybe struggling very slightly, but at the moment has kept it on the road. Only lost that position, and he can get back going again.
Absolutely right, Kieran. And what a start has been to the race for Mays. He's chugging away nicely, just half a second behind Graham in 9th place, starting on the medium tyres. But as I'm talking about starts to good races, Ollie has had an absolutely fantastic start. Seeing that a lot of drivers made it a lot easier for himself, as he has to start, and he is starting to catch up onto the back of Spike in the sister Mercedes. He's on the harder compound, so this could play into his favour come the end of the race. Well, come later on in the race, I should say. As Spike is all over the back of Jack now. Wouldn't this? Jack's took too much out of the tyres early on in this race. The gap is now down to 6/10, so if Spike's going to be quick enough, he might be able to have a run into turn 1, or at least try and get side by side come the centre S's. But what a story we've had so far, Kieran. We're only 5 laps in.
Absolutely, Lighty trying to go around the outside of the Casio Triangle, trying to make up for lost time. He's now up to 12th place. Meanwhile, Mays here has the DRS on Graham as we make our way now down towards turn 1. DRS is wide open, and he's got the inside line, and on those medium tyres though, he's got the move done. Now up to 9th place. Also on the stream, we saw Siege then make a mistake, and that's allowed White to just simply take that position away as we now head up the hill. And White here, who is now really challenging Sean for championship placings now. And the 2 Haas drivers are really enjoying themselves recently, but White here might be on the radio saying, let me pass, let me pass. But Sean, at the moment, has no reason to give that position up.
No, absolutely. And you can see coming out the hairpin, Spike almost pushing Jack up the hill to spoon. So the championship leader, in these early phases of the race, is definitely struggling. He's dropping back behind Recon now. The gap is now 1.1. He has 3 attempts to his teammate Spike in 3rd place. And Spike would be looking to try and get the position, because we all know pit stop preference could be given to the lead car. So vitally important, not just for the race, but to get out in front of his teammate as he looks to have a look into the Casio triangle. Jack sliding left, sliding right as he comes down onto the main straight. DRS wide open for Spike. I'm not sure if he's close enough this time round. We're going to find out. Depends if Jack wants to defend the inside or the outside. We saw Recon manage to squeeze himself through there just a few laps ago. And the Mercedes, like truck and tractor at the moment, they're just pulling each other along.
Yeah, it was interesting. Spike closed his DRS. He closed it manually there, didn't wait to the braking zone. So maybe he doesn't feel like it was a good opportunity to make a move. Maybe he thought he was carrying too much speed. In any case, he manually closed that DRS. Alan Kay then up to 10th place off stream as he makes his way up a position. And the Haas have swapped. So, well, they were swapping and changing. They were battling for position, but Sean has still managed to stay ahead. What this might do, though, is invite Siege back into the battle. And White there you can see running a little bit wide on the exit of the second Degno as we run up now towards the hairpin. And I wonder how long they can keep going with this then.
Well, it's one of the things though, isn't it, Q? It's where I'm sure you know yourself from being a racing driver, where you get yourself and your teammate, you're close to each other, and you know yourself if your teammate's going to go faster than you, or you're going to go faster than your teammate. Sometimes you let them through, trying to get the bigger haul of points. You look at the bigger picture, but at the moment, all I can see is that if Spike is choosing to stay behind Jack, it's just allowing Ollie to get closer and closer. So in the long term of things, it could work against both drivers. So it'll be interesting to see as the race wears on, if James reverts his call to tell Spike to stay back, and he's sliding just as much as his teammate was there coming out the last corner. Like you said, Kieran, his DRS is wide open this time, so you might be thinking, if you're not going to run away from me, I'm going to try and run away from you. As we see the gap behind, Ollie's closed right in, so just over a second now, Kieran.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Spike has said that if the moment comes, he will become that rear gunner that Jack wants. But at the moment, where it seems Spike has much more
Jack's
pace.
round!
Oh, Jack's round! Oh my goodness, he's lost it! Through turn 6, that is. Through turn 7, my apologies. Front wing has gone on that left-hand side. And this could have opened the championship up once again as we head towards the USA. Jack's really struggling. He's trying to push the car as hard as he can, get back to the pit lane, but with a wounded car, he's going to really struggle now as he's going to put up a battle here as well. This could be really tough for everybody around him. A wounded car, but he's going to try and make it as wide as possible now. He's still battling. This is with Sean now on the run through turn 12 here as the Red Bull of Siege also has a look. Sean now up the inside through the first part of the spoon, and then you can see Jack's lack of downforce sending him wide there. And how could that be for the championship here? Gap is currently 103 points, and it may not seem like a lot, but if you drop 25 points here, it could come back to haunt you. You just never know.
Absolutely, Kieran. You can see earlier in the race as well, and also in qualifying, we were commenting quite a few times how the back end is constantly sliding coming out the corners, and I just think maybe got a bit of a tank slapper coming out of the centre S. He's probably got his excuse me, probably got his foot too quick on the accelerator and round the car went. But also you have to think that those tyres will be coming up to 10 laps as well, so questions to be asked in the Mercedes garage post-mortem. But it'd be interesting to see how far he can recover. But as far as all his championship goes, to see him in third place, and Recon's gone off. The race leader's gone off, and the gap now to Spike is only 9/10. So he went off, coming in Degner too. The gap's now 3/10. Wonder if Spike's gonna have a go. He does. Kobayashi up the inside. Is Recon going to defend? No, he's not. And Spike might have the move complete. Yeah, he's going to be sent around the outside into the spoon. Recon trying to squeeze him out, but Spike saying, "I'm there, so you can't touch me. I'm going to go." Is he going to get the move? No, he doesn't. He decides to pull out. Thinks, I'm going to have a look down the straight, but this has grouped the top three up nicely for the race. And what a spectacle this has been so far, Keelan. We've only 8 laps out of 27 gone.
Absolutely, they're running side by side now as we head towards 130 yards. Side by side, and Recon's gone off onto the gravel. They did make contact through there as Ollie now trying to go up the inside. No dice for him though, as they stay behind, and Recon's now has all sorts of rubbish on his tyres. Spike into the pits, Recon into the pits as well. And earlier on the stream, we did see that Jack picked up a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be added to his next pit stop, if not then, to the end of his race. So a big penalty that could change the shape of this race, no matter where Jack finishes. Currently, he's in 13th place. Lighty now into the pits. He's picked up the same 5-second stop-go. There is Spike then rejoining. He now comes out in 6th place on a set of medium tyres. So that tells me he's planning to go to the end of this one. Rejoins ahead of Graham, 2.3 behind Alan Kay. Recon, meanwhile, has rejoined in 8th place. Could have been a lot worse, actually. But he rejoins 2.9 behind Spike at the moment. So side by side through 130R with worn tyres that don't provide a lot of grip. A little bit of contact made. Recon sent wide. Lots of rubbish on his tyres, but the front wing was still intact, and he gets to fight for another day.
Yeah, he certainly does, but the makings of that happened a lot earlier in the lap, where you had the Degner too, where Recon went off and it allowed Spike to catch up to him, also allowed Ollie. Well, I'm telling you now as well, Kieran, if Christian Horner's leg wasn't going on the pit wall, it'd be going now, because Ollie is in prime position to pick up the full points, if not second place at the moment, because he's got a gap of 6.5 seconds to TTG White. He is on the optimum tyre. The softs will be in the window of performance at the moment now, so he'll be communicating with his pit wall, asking when to pit, what position he might potentially come out in. He'll also be hoping that drivers such as Spike, Recon and Jack could come into some traffic as they look to make their way up the field.
Speaking of Recon in traffic, there he is up the inside of Graham, and Graham runs a bit wide there. As now they run down towards the Casio triangle, as Graham slightly misses his braking point there, but Recon takes 7th place away, and now he's 2.2 behind Spike, so he's closing that gap. He is out, and he's hungry now to take that position back from Spike. 2.2 the gap at the moment. So on lap 10 then, we're sort of halfway through our pit stops as Jack sets the A logo fast lap of the race, 1:30.940. It is Ollie who has the race lead at the moment. White is in 2nd, Sean 3rd, Mays in 4th with Alan Kate in 5th. All yet to stop. Spike, leaders of the ones who have stopped, currently in 6th place with Recon in 7th. It's Graham in 8th, with Plaster in 9th, both yet to stop. Siege in 10th, Jack in 11th, UC 12th, Lighty 13th, Benfica 14th, and Naz there in 15th, who has stopped once already in this race on the very first lap. Then Spike getting very close to the gearbox of Alan Kay. I don't think Alan is going to make too much of a battle out of this one. Heading now through turn 12. He's going to actually put Spike on the outside there, but yet there you can see, doesn't make too much of a battle out of that one. And Spike moves up a position, up to 5th he goes.
He certainly does, and it might be coming at the end of April, but it's looking good for May, as he currently lies 4th place in the Renault. With the Mercedes, as Spike furiously catching up to him. The gap's already gone down from 2 seconds to 1.6. So Spike on the prime medium tyre at the moment. If you're looking at trying to take this to the end with 16 laps to go, as you just have a look at the race leader there, Ollie, 10 laps in. The softs are doing very well. Something happened, Kieran, sorry.
Well, Plaster there wanted to look up the inside of Graham through 130R. The gap closed, and Plaster just went across the curb there. But very lucky not to collect anyone in the process. Meanwhile, then Recon gets that way past Alan Kay and trusts the grip in those tyres as Jack sets yet another fastest lap of the race. Then Siege now up to 8th place, and he can now try and leave the battling between Graham and Plaster now to 9th place, as we now head our way through turn 4, then through turn 5 on board with Plaster as he looks to try and find the way past the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Meanwhile then Spike on the back of Mays, and Tej, don't think you've got away with that pun, because you haven't yet. On the run up now.
Jack really lost it again. Coming up the centre of his Kieran, turn place. Sorry, interrupted there, but he was coming up to the back of Plaster and he almost lost it on his way to the Degners. It looks like he's going to go past Plaster. He's trying to force his way through. I think he's been a bit too furious and frantic at the moment. Think of the long game, think of the championship, think of the points, because Plaster's not going to let you through easily there. As he does try to push him off, Jack's on, and he's round again, and he's retired. He's out of the race, both front tyres gone. What a shame for the championship leader.
Well, that is a huge opportunity now, as you can see there. That is Jack off then. completely out of the race now. And Ollie's reacted by pitting straight away. So he saw that come up and thought, you know what, let's do it. Medium tyres go on. Where is Spike? He's now coming down the start-finish straight. And there you can see Ollie rejoins in a heap of air. A heap of clean air. 9 seconds to the car in front. 1.9 to Spike behind him. Ollie has timed that to perfection here. And he really has to capitalise now, as we see here. That was Plaster and Graham there going in towards turn 1. I saw a Ferrari involved in a turn 1 thing, and I just saw flashbacks there. Luckily, though, they both made it through turn 1, and Plaster moves up a position into 9th place he goes.
This is an overkill and not by a long shot, because Spike has now got the gap down to 6/10 as Ollie looks to try and warm up the mediums. He's weaving left and right to try and get some heat in the tyres. You've also got Recon close there as well, so the front three from the pre-pit stops are now closely bunched together. It was vitally important that from the Red Bull garage that they timed the pit stop to perfection to keep their man out ahead of the challenging Mercedes, and they've done that to perfection. Just like to touch on what happened with Jack. I was thinking to myself just before it happened, what he really needs now is one of the drives where you prove to be a champion. And the likes, like Schumacher, where you used to come back through the field. Unfortunately for Jack, but I'm sure he'll come back in America on Thursday.
Absolutely, but he's just going to watch on now and hope that Spike can help him out a little bit here. Recon riding on board with him as Spike runs a little bit deep in towards the first part of the Casio triangle. Is he trying to prioritise his exit? Well, didn't look like he got a great exit either. Now he's under pressure from Recon. He'll have DRS to help him, but Recon here has the slipstream as we head now down towards turn 1. Recon on the outside, Spike on the inside as they make their way through turn 1, and Spike just about holds it, but he runs wide in towards turn 2. And has Recon got this position now? Heading through turn 3, they're very close. Recon now at the inside of 4, but Spike now is the inside of turn 5. But in the end, it is Recon who takes that position away. So close between the two of them, but I tell you what, not once did they make contact through that series. Great driving from the both of them, and Recon takes third place away from Spike there, and that is not what Jack wanted to see there.
No, absolutely no, he didn't. But what a fantastic driving that was from Recon. He got his foot in the door, kept his car there, and he said, I'm coming through, and I'm going to take this position. Fantastic driving, great respect between the two TTG drivers. Spike leaving just the right amount of room, and Recon more than happy to squeeze through. And he looks to chase Ollie now, our provisional leader. He's 1.8 seconds, so with those two squabbling at the start of this lap, it's allowed Ollie to get his tyres up to temperature and squeeze out a little bit more of the lead.
Well, right then, I can confirm he is on the track there, despite what you saw on the stream. I've done that before, I've fallen for that one. But no, he is on track, up to 6th place he goes now, with Alan Kay now in 7th place, Siege in 8th. Remember, Alan Kay still has to stop in this race. I'm seeing a battle there developing between Plaster and Graham. We saw Graham run wide at the Degners just a few moments ago. Meanwhile, Benfica here, who had a promising debut last week, obviously knocked off the podium through penalties, down to 5th place. Now he's in 13th place at the moment, and sometimes you will have these races. It's tough, but you've got to keep your foot in the door, because you never know what might happen. We've just seen Jack retire, and that hasn't happened for a long time here, as Benfica now trying to go around the outside of Uzi in towards the Casio triangle, and he gets that move done. Up to 12th place he goes. Really good move from Benfica then, and he moves up the field.
Absolutely, he certainly does. You have to take the rough with the smooth. He had the smooth last week in Singapore. We had a fantastic race. Now he's taking the rough this week with a baptism of fire here at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. As Ollie, still the race leader, 1.9 over Recon. As we look further down, Maze is having an absolutely fantastic race at the moment. Only 4 seconds down on the mediums. He's taking these long into the race. He's going to be looking to try and go into the softs or the super softs post pit stop, as White, who's just come out of the pits, he's only 1.1 behind him. You've also got the sister Red Bull of Siege in 6th. Alan Kay running very well and strongly on the softs in the McLaren, and Sean TTG running very well in 8th.
Absolutely, Alan Kay is one of those drivers who can make those tyres last a lot longer than you think. So on those soft tyres, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go into a set of super softs towards the end of this one. He might go on the mediums just to make sure he can make it, but if he pits in on sort of lap 17, lap 18, don't be too confused if you see him rejoin on a set of super soft tyres. Of course, he'll have a lighter car, and That may help him towards the end. Then Mays into the pits then. Onto a set of soft tyres and away he goes. 13 laps to go here at the Suzuka track. And it is Ollie in the lead. Recon in second place. Spike rounding off the podium right now. It's White in fourth place with Siege in fifth. Alan Kay in sixth, but he's yet to stop in this one. Sean is in seventh. Lighty has just taken that position away from Mays as he's exiting the pit lane. So it's Lighty in eighth. Mays in ninth. Benfica rounding out the top 10. But Naz here might just simply take that one away with the DRS down towards turn 1. He does indeed. Naz now up to 10th place in towards turn 2. Runs a little bit wide actually. And Benfica is simply allowed to take that position back. So Benfica now up back into 10th place. Graham there in 12th place, and then Plaster, the last one is right now in 13th place. We did lose Yuzi, who picked up a penalty and came back to the pit lane to call it a day entirely. He's our most recent retirement here at the Japanese Grand Prix.
It's been so fast, it's been so frantic, Kieran. Like we said pre-broadcast, that the Suzuka race and the track itself can follow up 27 laps of quick, furious action. Like last week when we managed to talk about some of your Kieranisms during patches of the racing team with Paul last week. Happy to report we've had none of those so far. Apart from my cat and pigeon one qualifying, I'm not sure you're too keen on that one. I can't imagine you're going to use that one in future.
I'm not too keen on that, no, but well, since this
what
is
analogy?
The last... Well, yeah, absolutely. Here comes Sean then on Alan Kay with the DRS then. So Alan, on those soft tyres, is still yet to stop, of course. And it's coming to that point now where if he pits in, he'll put on a set of super softs, I think, and get him to the end of the race. He will be able to do that. Battling behind, though, meanwhile, two long-time rivals in Plaster and Graham here, running side by side there as we head through 130R. And I got to say, Plaster didn't give Graham a lot of room there. They come together here, and Graham's gone off. He's gone straight on. And I think these two have, well, hopefully they haven't seen the red mist descend here. And you see Graham there, 10-second time penalty for going straight on at the Casio Triangle. Also a 5-second stop go as he's actually retired from the session altogether. And, well, I got to say, Plaster didn't give him a lot of room there on the entrance into the Casio Triangle, not one bit.
Yeah, they're having a right little confrontation over the garden fence there. There'll be no love lost for Plaster and Graham. It'll be interesting to see the comments that could be made post-race. I'm sure Graham will be disgruntled and he might even let us know in the stream chat. But we're down to 12 now, Kieran, from 17 starters. I think we've just missed out another battle there. Naz and Benfica. Benfica managed to sneak his way back into the points, and Naz has stopped once already after he went off at the start. 10 laps to go. He's got 14 on the soft, so I imagine he'll be pitting again. You've seen any more battles going on. You've got May coming up to the back of Light E44. May on the fresher soft is going to be taking him to the end. It's going to be a bit of a sprint finish for May. Did a fantastic job on the medium tyres, making them last as long as he did, as he looks to try and take on the Soul Force India.
Alan Kay finally into the pits, and there you go. On go a set of super soft tyres. I called it, and he is now coming out now. And he should be able to make those super soft tyres last to the end of the race. He's got 11 laps on them. So where will he rejoin then? He makes his way out of the pit lane, coming down now towards turn 1. And yep, he rejoins in 9th place. And yeah, he is good at making those tyres last. But he's got Benfica and Naz behind him. Naz, who will probably have to stop again. Benfica probably won't actually. In fact, I'm going to say it now, he won't stop again. Because we've got 11 laps to go, 21 laps on mediums. It's a huge ask. But well, if he's going to be competitive, if he wants to score some points, he's got to do it.
Yeah, he might as well try and sneak around on them. He's obviously got Naz behind him, who will be pitting as well. Alan Kay on the super softs will make them last to the end, so you'd have to imagine the drivers who are around him, especially in front, they won't be pitting again. As May has now got the gap down to 7 tenths behind Light E44, the Soul Force India. So much promise at the start of the race for the two Force India, was running very strong at the start in 4th and 5th. Unfortunately, they both had incidents. They did get a bit feisty on the first lap as well, alongside each other. Like I touched on earlier, there's a bit of carbon fibre flying between the two, and I'm sure Ollie was too keen to get past them both as they both went off. There's the gap now, 7 tenths. The Soul Renault against the Soul Force India for the 7th place. Have a little look at any more battles going on. Doesn't appear to be. The timing the timing seems to be stable. We've got Ollie, who's 2 seconds ahead of Recon. Recon, who's also 4 seconds ahead of Spike. So the front three at the moment with 9 to go. Looking quite settled at this stage of the race, Kieran.
Yeah, I think the main battle at the moment is between Lighty and Maze, as Maze is 7/10 down, but Lighty on obviously warmer tyres. Those mediums are good tyres once you get them up to temperature, but they do take a couple of laps to do so. So we have 10 laps to go here, and we can go through the order with you right now. So Ollie is the leader of the race, the man from Jersey, looking to make it another win in the season. Recon in second place there. Spike is in third place. White then in fourth, with Siege in fifth. Sean there in sixth place, with Lighty in seventh. Maze currently running in eighth place. Alan K in ninth. Benfica is 10th, Naz running just outside the points, and Plus then in 12th place on his way up towards the hairpin. Retirements have been Graham, Yuzi, Jack, the championship leader, Pursuit and Crazy Legs all have retired from the Japanese Grand Prix. What will be interesting, so I'm just having a look to see that obviously Ollie has had wins at the British Grand Prix, the Hungarian Grand Prix and the Belgian Grand Prix, and he's actually continuing, at the moment he's continuing a podium streak that started at the British Grand Prix. In that time he's had 3 wins and 4 second places, so he'll be looking today to make it win number 4 in the season and try and at least get those 25 points to reel him back into this championship battle very, very slightly. It still will be, as I see it, 78 points. But you know what? It's 25 points closer than what it could have been.
Absolutely. You know, it's there's a saying, if I can find it. Where does it go? Softly catch your monkey. That's the one. Where you're trying to catch something, you take your time. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean. I probably just walked right into one there.
I think you have, yeah.
It's a euphemism. I think that's what you call it, where it's kind of like you're not doing it all in one,
not
but you're slowly catching.
That is not the right word.
I've lost myself now. An analogy. Is it an analogy?
It can be whatever you like it to be, Tej. Honestly, at this point.
There we go. There you go. Softly catch your monkey. In other words, don't flurry. Patience gains the day. There you go. That's it. That's my philosophy for you.
So what you could have said was patience is a virtue. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, this is what happens, see? Once the race plateaus, you know, once it's all calmed down, I end up embarrassing myself. So, someone do something, you know, Maze, spin, I don't know.
Somebody spin, for goodness sake. Well, he did have a moment there for Benfica, who had an off-track excursion. Those were the reasons for the yellow flags in Sector 2. He's decided to come in now, and I assume probably trying to entertain you, Tej. And this is the damage. He now has to pit in for a new set of tyres. On goes some super softs, and away he goes again. So now his battle with Naz will be well and truly reignited, as Naz here making his way through 130R. There's Benfica making his way down the pit lane. Of course, he's in the Williams, so he's a lot further down the pit lane than others, as Naz now making his way only now through the Casio triangle. Benfica then comes out of the pit lane safely in 11th place. Now he's 12.9 behind Plaster with 8 laps to go, and it will be 7 if he gets lapped by Ollie on this lap. But Ollie there 130.4 on a set of medium tyres, and of course no point for the A logo fastest lap of the race at the moment. That could change soon though, you never know. Who knows? I don't make the regulations, I just commentate over them.
Brilliant, I love it. 20 laps into the race, and we're commentating on an undercut battle for 11th. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Lap 21 of 27, TTG Ollie, the race leader at the moment on the medium tyres, 9 laps into his stint. He has Recon catching up at the moment. He's only 1.8 key, and he's managed to drop the gap even though his tyres are a lot older than what Ollie's are.
Absolutely, but Recon there still hanging in there, but as Ollie sets fastest lap after fastest lap, Recon knows that it's going to be tougher and tougher to stay with him. Spike then is 7.4 behind Recon, currently in third place, and just a little bit of a race of his own at the moment. He has done his best to really capitalise and try and help out Jack wherever he could. But at the moment, third place seems to be his position for now. White in fourth place was looking to try and build on that momentum. And I tell you what, starting 15th place in fourth place right now, that's not a bad day at the office whatsoever. He's got to watch out from that late charge from Siege then. 1.6 is the gap. Currently in 5th place. It's Sean in 6th place, who's obviously had that great season so far. Really consistent in the points then, in those mid-range points. A couple of podiums as well. One at Monaco being very memorable as one of only, I think it was 7 or 6 finishes this season. So very memorable podium for him, but he's been in and around the points all season long. Lighty in 7th place. Frustrating day for him, I know. Had to pit very early on after damage and worn tyres from his very first stint. And he'll be very frustrated with that then. Mays, who did qualify outside the top 10. Benfica's penalty put him into 10th place, so he got a free strategy. He's currently running in 8th place at the moment. Alan Kay then, who, well, supposed to be running in a Renault actually. I don't know what changed actually. I need to check the team standings. Yeah, just the colour of the car. No, Alan is supposed to be in a Renault, so I assume what's going to happen is that the league will take those points off of McLaren and give them to Renault instead, and Alan Kay will be able to keep the 2 points that he'll be able to score. Plaster currently running in 10th place at the moment, 20 seconds off Alan Kay, but Benfica here 8.5 seconds at the moment, and that's after now 2 laps. He's taken 2 seconds out of Plaster. At the moment, that pace is not quite going to be enough to catch him, so he just needs to find a little bit more. And then it's Naz then in 12th place, rounding out the finishers or the runners so far. Lap 23 of 27. We have, I believe,
DRS.
DRS then for Recon. So really crunch time now with 5 laps to go. Recon might be here to put a thorn in Ollie's side.
That's it. He might be here to be the pin in the balloon. He might be here to pop the party. Let's have a look here. Is he getting very tasty and feisty with 4 laps to go, Kieran? We could be in for a grandstand finale. Ollie's not had it all his own way this second stint of the race. He's probably struggling to get heat and temperature and performance in the medium tyres. Christian Horner, a look on the garage of concern there. As Adrian Newey looks to the skies and hopes the Red Bull gets some more performance because the Williams are coming. It's only 4 tenths is the gap. So Recon's pushing hard with these last few laps. He's managed to close the gap, and can he seal the deal and have a famous victory for Williams here at Suzuka?
Well, you have to look at Ollie then. He's really saving the CRS for this straight here. You can see Recon down to 27%, but Ollie up to 63%. Recon here is looking like he's going to stay back as we now head through 130R. And is he going to have a move now into the Casio Triangle? Does go for it, looks for it, but in the end backs out of it. Ollie does enough to defend the position, enough so Recon doesn't have a go. Now heading down into the DRS zone again. Recon with the slipstream, with the DRS here. Ollie is not going to have it all his own way. 4 laps to go then. Recon now up the inside, almost a carbon copy move of a move he made earlier in the race. Up the inside, in towards turn 2 he goes, and Recon takes the lead of the race with 4 laps to go. And what a thorn in the side that has become for Ollie. Still time for him to get that position back, of course. But 18 points rather than 25 was not what Ollie needed.
No, but still getting 18 points over your championship rival is still... I must say patience is a virtue, Kieran. Hey, there you are, it's come back. He's closed the gap there. And now he'll be looking at the Williams thinking, how can I get past you now? There's 3 laps to go. I really want to get the full 25. I've got the tyres are a lot younger than yours. What are you doing that's different to mine? Is he going to be looking at the lines of the Williams? Is he going to be looking at his exit speed? He's going to be trying to change things, mix it up and try and have another go. No, have a go, so at turn 1 he's going to have to try and stick with the Williams. As long as he can stick with in the DRS, he's always got a chance. There's Ollie, the lead Red Bull driver, looking to close the gap up in the championship to Jack, who retired early in the race, unfortunately. Recon's had an outstanding performance so far. He's put a move on Jack early in the race. He's now put one on Ollie, so potentially one to watch as the season wears on, and also for next season.
Absolutely heading now down the hill Ollie's got that DRS, a little bit of a snapper oversteer. He's got the DRS now. 3 laps to go here in Japan. And as Recon now making his way down the straight, as he'll hold on to the lead right now. And I wonder if Ollie's just trying to leave that DRS move as late as possible. Remember, there's only one DRS zone here, and it's down the start-finish straight, and it starts literally just before the start-finish line. So I'm thinking Ollie's got to make that move on the penultimate lap rather than the final lap or any time before, because otherwise he leaves himself open to an attack from Recon if he goes too early. But then if he leaves it too late, he won't have a DRS move after that. So he's got to do it on this lap, down towards turn 1. Well, actually, not this lap, the next lap, lap 27. That's when it has to be done, where they cross that line for the penultimate time. It'll have to be passing down towards turn 1. Otherwise, Ollie might not get a chance here. And Lighty, in the closing stages of this race, has left the session. If he doesn't join back and doesn't finish the race, if his AI finishes the race instead, his points will not count, and that will really just cap off what has been a miserable day for Force India right now. And it looks like he has joined back, so that's a sigh of relief. But Mays here might just get another position. But we're going to keep focused on this battle for the lead right now. And what championship implications could this mean then as we head down towards the Casio Triangle? Benfica makes the move on Plaster then, up to 10th place. Ollie now coming down the hill into the DRS zone. I wonder if he's got the stream open. Will he be listening? We head on now to the penultimate lap of this race. Yellow flags in Sector 1. That's behind us though, or in front of us, either way. The Recon loosen that back end very slightly through turn 2. Under pressure, you can feel that now. Penultimate lap of the race, as it looks like here, Ollie's trying to wind up this move for the next lap down into turn 1. But he's got to stay with him at the moment. He knows he's got to build up that ERS to try and get a move past Recon done. But you can see there, through that first sector, Recon is lightning quick. That car is definitely suited for those that high aero section.
I was going to touch on that early on, Kieran. It's just that Recon's first sector, it's keeping the gap come the end of the lap to 3 or 4 tenths. He's managing to get enough speed and pace and grip through that first sector, and it's paying dividends as we come to the end of the lap, as we see now in the timing. Ollie's caught right up, giving the Recon a chance to charge his ERS. He's going to obviously throw it up to level 3, level 4, coming out with Spoon, going down the long straight for the R130. 130R, sorry, one of the two. And Ollie now, the gap 4 tenths of a second. He's going to be looking to try and have a look. He's got this lap and the next to try and make it happen as he catches. He's caught up, he's closer than he has been before. He goes up the inside. Well, Recon manages to just close the doors. They come down to the main straight now. Ollie closer than what he has been. Kieran, do you want to call this?
Yeah, this is the move he's been looking for. He's in the slipstream final lap of the race. This is the move he was waiting for. He's going to have to do it round the outside though. In towards turn 1. Can Recon hold on for dear life? Ollie round the outside in towards turn 2. Ollie takes the lead of the race. And that is the move he was building up to. The man from Jersey takes the lead on the final lap of the race. And that was all calculated from 130R. He backed out of that one because he knew the DRS zone was coming up. Takes the race lead, but still, he's got 4 kilometres to go here before that checkered flag falls. He's got to hold off Recon for that time then, as we head now towards the second deck. Now, can Recon find anything left in the tank then? He did everything he could to keep Ollie behind him, tried to force him to the outside line, the inferior line, and still Ollie found that way through with a brilliant move.
Actually, they did, Kieran. What a fantastic driving by both drivers, given speed, room, and absolute quality. This shows the quality of racer that we have in this championship. Fantastic move by Ollie, and obviously fantastic respect by Recon to acknowledge that the fight was done, the position was gone. A lesser driver would have done something silly, but Recon, respect to him, respect to his peers. It looks like Ollie now as he goes down the final few corners to the hairpin. Is Recon going to try and have one up the inside? He's going to go for gold? I don't think so. He locks up with the chicane. A very strong performance from the Williams driver, an outstanding performance from Ollie, and Ollie wins the race to close the gap in the championship, heading into the circuit of the Americas.
It's actually Recon who takes it. Ollie had a 5-second stop go, unserved, so that means Recon wins his first race of the season, and Ollie comes home in second place. Spike then rounds off the podium by completely shearing his front wing off. White then comes across the line in 4th place and rounds off what has been a really successful day from Siege. Then comes across the line in 5th place. Sean coming around the Casio triangle. Down the hill he goes. And he's going to take 6th place in this one as he too comes across the line. So we've got Maze there in 7th place. And he's taken that position away from Lighty with the connection issues. So Maze has rather been given a free position there as he makes his way down the hill and towards the line. He's going to grab 7th place in this race then, with Lighty coming across the line in 8th. Alan Kay then has made those super soft tyres last a long time, and he's rewarded by jumping Lighty on penalties. He finishes in 8th place. And Benfica here, who had that grid penalty, that 5th place grid penalty for the race, as he makes his way through 130R, now coming towards the Casio triangle. And it looks like if there's going to be any punishment from the stewards after the race, it's going to be qualifying related. So I think he's relatively safe with this point on the board. Benfica rounds out the top 10 then. Naz is going to come across the line in 11th place, and Plaster will come across the line in 12th as the last of the finishers. But your winner today, his first race win of the season, and what an upset this could be for the championship. It's Recon on the top step.
Absolutely, Kieran. Regardless of the upset of the championship, what a fantastic performance it was from Recon to overtake Jack early in the race and then to take the fight to Ollie. Managed to stick with him once Ollie went past and to take the race victory. So congratulations to Recon and congratulations to the Williams team. Double points finish. Well, congratulations to the podium as well.
Absolutely, it's Williams' second race win of the season. And they'll be very happy with that, to have 2 permanent drivers. 5th place for him last time out at Russia for Recon. He comes back to win this one. So what a result for him then. And we'll have the official, unofficial results. And here they are. Recon takes the race win. Ollie in 2nd and Spike rounds off that podium. It's White in 4th. It's Siege in 5th with Sean in 6th. Maze 7th. Alan K in 8th. Lighty 9th. And Benfica rounding out the top 10. Naz in 11th. Plaster, the last of the finishers in that race. Graham, Yuzi, Jack, Pursuit and Crazy Legs all retired from the Japanese Grand Prix. And what that means is then, as we look to work out the points scoring positions, is that the gap now between the two of them has come down to 85 points. So that's what that means as we head towards the USA. And let's have a look, just quickly see who the fastest lap of the race was. I believe it was to Ollie. A logo fastest lap, I believe, is a 1:30.4. So congratulations to him then. He gets a consolation. Unfortunately, there's no point that goes along with it just yet. But wait a couple of months and he might that might change. But yeah, great race, great racing. I really enjoyed that one.
No, absolutely, Kieran. It was a fantastic race. Action absolutely everywhere. We had people retiring, you had people spinning, you had fantastic overtakes, great rear to wheel. Great advertisement for the league, and long may it continue as we look forward to the Circuit of the Americas on Thursday. It's going to be a fantastic race. If I'm not commentating, it'll be definitely one to be watching. So I look forward to that one.
Absolutely, and of course we will have Commentators Corner coming up. We will see who wants to stay behind and have a chat with us. And we shall see what that's going to be like. Obviously, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time the channel goes live. Live every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday and Sunday for the racing series, and Saturday as well, actually. Forgot about the Project Cars series. Whoops-a-daisy, and it'll be up my throat now. But yeah, they just announced their new series. They're moving away from Formula C and they're actually moving into... it was a Renault. I think it was the Renault Sport Cars. You have Andy will be able to tell you on Thursday. So many things run through my head. Andy will be here for that one. Make sure you do follow the league on Twitter as well. It's at TTL _F1. You can follow me whilst you're there as well. It's at KSMCG F1. You can also follow Tej there. Tej, what's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is at TEGUARR_86. It's easier to say it like that than actually say it out, but yeah, I said that like a wee bit in the car, didn't I?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to get a little bit said a bit better in the future. TEGUARR.com. No.
No. On that terrifying disappointment, we shall end the mainstream now. Of course, we've got Commentators Corner coming up in just a short time away. Don't leave the channel. We'll be back shortly.